I'm someone who was brought up by immigrant Asian parents. I've always been told to study, get good grades in school, and get a stable job. Then you would be set for life. It wasn't until after I started working when I started to wonder, will I be doing this until I retire at 65? There has to be another way. As you can see in this photo right here, this was young and naive me at 22 years old, almost a decade ago. I was ecstatic at my first big kid job and thinking that the rest of my life was pretty much taken care of. Then I realized a few years into my job that I would need to work a job for the next 40 to 50 years and then finally get freedom when I'm old and well past my peak in life. Based on the book The Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco, get rich slow means go to school, get good grades, get a good job, save 10%, invest in the stock market, max your retirement fund, and then someday when you are 65 years old, you will then finally be rich. But if you want to retire when you are still young and healthy, you're going to need to ignore society's default get rich slow roadmap. There is another way, and it's the fast lane. In today's video, I will be sharing how I plan to retire by 35 years old. This is based on my own research over the years, reading books on self-development and wealth creation, talking to entrepreneurs who make multiple 6, 7, and even 8 figures, as well as some of the things I learned while starting my own business this year. The only ways to build wealth. A concept that struck me a few years ago was that there were only 3 main ways of creating wealth. And no, working a job was not one of them. The 3 ways are through stocks, real estate, and businesses. And the thing is, most, if not all, wealthy people have a combination of all 3. And I know what you're thinking. Don't you need money to even invest in stocks or buy real estate or start a business? If I have no money, how do I even get started? Each of the 3 ways of generating wealth requires varying amounts of capital, knowledge, and time to get started. If you don't have much of the capital and knowledge yet, you will be dedicating a lot of your time at the beginning in acquiring them. Eventually, when done right, these 3 ways become income generating assets. Ultimately, they become the passive income streams that fund your lifestyle without working another day. So the big question is how? We will be unpacking this in the rest of this video, so make sure that you watch until the very end. The math of retiring early. Let's first take a step back and calculate how much money you would even need to retire. Retirement can mean different things to people. For me, I want to buy back my time and be financially independent, so if I choose to, I don't need to work another day in my life to pay for living expenses. It doesn't mean necessarily that I will never work again. In fact, I think I will work until I can't anymore. But it's more about the financial security and freedom to do whatever you want to do with your time and life. So let's do the math of how much you actually need to retire. Say that you can comfortably live off $50,000 per year. What does this look like in passive income streams? This can mean having an investment portfolio that pays you dividends and interest income. It could mean having rental income, or it could mean a business that generates net profit of $50,000 per year. For the sake of simplicity, we will exclude taxes in the calculations, which would vary greatly depending on the type of income that you receive. For an investment portfolio, we will assume a dividend or interest rate of 5% per year. In this case, you would need capital of $1 million to have a return of $50,000 per year. For real estate in Vancouver, a 1-bedroom apartment that is $650,000 would typically charge around $2,000 in rent per month or $24,000 per year. That is around a 3.7% return per year on rental income alone. So if we were to extrapolate that, you would need a real estate portfolio of at least $1.35 million completely paid off to generate $50,000 in rental income per year. As for a business, you would need to sell some sort of product or service that can generate $50,000 per year in net profit. Of course, a business is not passive from the very beginning. It requires a tremendous amount of active labor at the start. I will also be diving into how to make that transition from active to passive later in this video. So let's see how long it would take you to save up for a $1 million portfolio through your job. Neglecting inflation and increase in salary for the time being, let's say that you earn a 6-figure salary of $100,000 per year on average. If your savings rate is a solid 20%, you are saving around $20,000 per year. By doing simple math of $1 million divided by $20,000, it would take you, wait for it, 50 years to save that $1 million. How about compounding investments? If we assume that you are able to consistently save $20,000 and make good investment decisions that give you at least a guaranteed 5% return every year, you may be able to reach your goals in 25 years. And these assumptions may be a stretch when it comes to saving goals or having the skills to know how to invest. Why you need to start a business. So let's agree that it's going to take forever, 25 all the way up to 50 years working a job to have at least $1 million to invest in real estate or a stock portfolio for you to retire and live off passive income. The solution is to earn large sums of money fast. And fast wealth is created exponentially, not linearly, such as through a business. A business has the potential for exponential income compared to a job that has a ceiling in terms of how much you could earn every year. For one, you can't go to your boss and ask for a 100% raise, let alone match for inflation. And unlike having an investment portfolio, which requires capital, you could start a business with no money. If you have a high income skill, you can start by selling your services and getting paid for your time. The important thing is to work towards a viable business model that you can eventually scale and remove yourself from the equation. I'll be covering two main ways you could do this later in this video. But first, we need to address the most important mindset to have when starting a business. Mindset. Being your own boss sounds like the dream, but it comes with its fair share of obstacles along the way. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. And in fact, most will give up partway before they even make it. Of all the books and entrepreneurs that I talk to, they share two key characteristics: unwavering focus in their mission and resilience when it comes to failure. Despite what we see on social media of those who've made it overnight, entrepreneurship is a process. According to MJ DeMarco in the Millionaire Fastlane, all self-made multimillionaires create their wealth by a carefully orchestrated process, a backstory of trial, risk, hard work, and sacrifice. If you try to skip the process, you will never experience the events. Process create events that others see as luck. And I realized that instead of viewing failure as a reflection of myself, I see it as a rite of passage when going through the process. I need to see it as feedback on how I can improve and make something better. I also connected the dots and realized that successful people always had a few failed businesses or lost all their money at some point before getting back up. Through all of this, what was most important was the conviction that your efforts are not in vain and that you only need to hit one home run to be set for life. Alex Hormozi, a successful entrepreneur who went through borderline bankruptcy before crossing $100 million by the age of 32, said something that really hit home for me. If we are to use a metaphor and say that you need to reach 100 flight of stairs before you make it, would you quit at the 99th step? No, you wouldn't, because you'd go the extra step. In life though, we don't know when the 100th step is going to be, but it would sure suck if you quit at step 99. Create systems that can automate. So you've worked hard, developed the skills, hardened your mindset, and proven your business model. My next step in retiring early would be to create a system to automate the business. At the beginning, it's normal to be spending a lot of time in your business. You're still figuring out what works, what doesn't work. Over time, you would have developed certain ways of doing things and even optimized it. At this point, instead of dealing with every single problem manually, I would create a system and process for every step in the business. Rely heavily on IT to help automate as much as possible, such as from how your services are delivered to how you deal with customer inquiries. And I would document what my best practices are so that I could outsource those tasks. That way, you can take back your time and focus on bigger issues that come up as your business grows. Once you have a system in place, that is when you are ready to scale and grow the business. And this is when the next tip comes in: leverage. I would scale and grow the business by using leverage of other people's time and other people's money. After you have proven that your business model is viable and that you've had some sales and made profit, you know at this point that you are on the right path. You would use the profits to then reinvest back into the business. One of the key investments to make is hiring people. Hiring people early on is a big commitment since they are going to be your highest expense. It's hard to know exactly when is the best time to hire people, but I want to have automated as much as possible through IT and have a system in place so that you're able to delegate efficiently and maximize other people's time to produce a positive ROI or return on investment. Creating systems systems can mean creating training manuals, having defined steps, drafting answers to commonly asked questions from customers. That way you can train others to take over your role and have a consistent outcome. You can also grow your business by using another kind of leverage, other people's money. While taking on debt too early or becoming overly leveraged can be dangerous, taking on debt to scale your business because you have proven demand is going to take your business to the next level. By creating a system that automates and also leveraging other people's time and money, you will have a business that runs on autopilot while removing yourself from the day-to-day grind. Deploy capital to earn passive income forever. I know that creating a successful business won't happen overnight, but when your business finally takes off after many years of building the foundation, you would be able to grow your income exponentially. With all of this money, you'll be very tempted to immediately buy nice things such as sports cars or upgrading to a penthouse. While making money is half the battle, the other half is about maintaining it. Why do successful athletes like Mike Tyson, who was once worth $400 million, declare bankruptcy in 2003? Or lotto winners who are worse off after only a few years of winning millions of dollars? It's a matter of knowing how to deploy your capital so that it works for you and not against you. I would invest the capital in the right dividend stocks and fixed income equities for reliable monthly payouts, and or purchase rental properties that can pay you steady rental income every month. That way, my principal is preserved while I'm able to fund my lifestyle by living off the passive income. That way, I can truly live life on my own terms and spend my time on what I find meaningful to me. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to check out my other videos here. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!